Recently, the public was shocked by the shocking news from the world of the South Korean military. Jungkook, one of the members of BTS, known as Golden Magne, reportedly suffered ill treatment during his military service. This news was initially only heard as a rumor on social media, but day by day, the evidence that appears increasingly difficult to ignore. In fact, there are strong allegations that the perpetrators of Jungkook's ill treatment were protected by his influential family. Who exactly did this? And why do military institutions that are known for discipline actually look silent? The story first emerged after a former soldier who declined to be named gave a shocking confession through an anonymous interview. He mentioned that a soldier in the same unit as Jungkook often committed inappropriate acts, including demeaning Jungkook in front of his colleagues. From cynical comments to structured bullying behavior, all of this was allegedly done without any decisive action from the authorities. What made the public even more furious was the claim that the perpetrator, who is said to come from an elite family and has strong ties to important figures in the military world, was fully protected by the influence of his family. Asterisk, we all know who he is and where he comes from. No one dares to oppose it. Asterisk revealed the source. This statement immediately sparked a wave of anger from BTS fans around the world, even raising a big question. Does justice still prevail in South Korea's military institutions? So far, the military has not given an official response to the allegations, despite mounting public pressure. This led to further speculation about an attempt to cover up the case. Why didn't the military take immediate action? Are they really trying to protect the offender just because he has connections? Asterisk asked a furious Twitter user. In fact, hashtags such as hashtag Justice for Jungkook and hashtag Protect Jungkook from Bullying are trending on various social media platforms. Fans from different countries called for justice, demanded a thorough investigation, and even petitioned the South Korean government to ensure the case was not swept under the carpet. Some fans of the case have found discrepancies in official reports about Jungkook's military unit. On the one hand, the military stated that the atmosphere in the unit was harmonious and there were no serious incidents. However, this statement contradicts the testimony of several former soldiers who said there was special treatment for the perpetrators who allegedly harassed Jungkook. Additional evidence further bolstering suspicions are a number of screenshots of conversations from chat apps that show Jungkook's condescending comments. One of the leaked messages reads, asterisk, he may be famous out there, but here he is nobody. Asterisk, this message allegedly comes from the perpetrator, who is now in the spotlight. Many wondered, why was Jungkook the target of this ill treatment? Is it solely out of jealousy of his status as a world star? Or are there other more complex reasons? A social expert he consulted mentioned that this type of phenomenon often occurs in public figures who enter highly hierarchical environments, such as the military. Many people were disturbed by Jungkook's attention, perhaps even threatened by his presence. This can trigger jealousy that leads to negative behavior, he explains. However, this does not mean that this kind of ill treatment is justified. If military institutions are unable to protect their members, especially from bullying behavior, how can society trust the system? In the midst of this news, Jungkook's colleagues at BTS are also rumored to be providing moral support for him. Although they could not comment directly due to the sensitivity of the case, several sources said that other BTS members have asked their agencies to ensure Jungkook's safety during his military service. In addition, several other celebrities in South Korea also began to raise their voices. They called for an end to the culture of intimidation in the military and called on the government to take similar cases more seriously. Asterisk, it's not just about Jungkook. It's about how we treat people, regardless of their status. Asterisk wrote a famous actress on her Instagram account. To this day, the biggest question that remains unanswered is, will this case be investigated to the fullest? Many are pessimistic, given the long history of similar cases in the South Korean military that often do not get serious attention. However, pressure from a huge global public could be a factor that changes the course of the case. The South Korean government, which is currently working to promote a positive image in the eyes of the world, is also faced with a major dilemma. If they fail to handle the case with transparency, their reputation could be tarnished in the eyes of the international community. Another interesting question is whether Jungkook himself will comment on the case. During this time, Jungkook was known as a humble figure and rarely involved in controversy. However, if he finally decides to speak out, this could be a major moment that changes the course of the case drastically. Will he reveal all that he has experienced? Or will he choose to remain silent in order to maintain stability? All eyes were now on him, waiting expectantly and anxiously. This case isn't just about a K-pop star experiencing injustice. It's a reflection of a larger problem within a system that often prioritizes power and connections over justice. The public is not only demanding justice for Jungkook, but also for all those who have been victims of ill treatment in institutions such as the military. This story of Jungkook's ill treatment in the military is of concern not only in South Korea, but also on the global stage. International media began reporting on the incident, highlighting how world superstar who had brought South Korea's own wave through music was now facing a stark contrast of injustice in a land of many glances. How would the South Korean government respond to this global pressure? With Jungkook's name recognized worldwide, the government has faced protests not only from local residents, but also from the international community. It's not just a domestic issue anymore. The world is watching. Will the government take swift action to clear the name of the South Korean military? Or will they instead get caught up in a sluggish bureaucracy, allowing the issue to tarnish their reputation? The alleged attempt at evidence erasure and involvement of people in rumor is heating up after reports that some of the evidence related to this case has disappeared. A number of internal documents that reportedly indicate intimidation of Jungkook have allegedly been damaged, and we heard that there was a systematic effort to delete the recording of the incident and related reports, said a public activist, further indignant. Comments like, "How far would they go to protect someone just because of a family connection? This justice is clearly dead here if this case goes unpunished," I suspect prompting calls for an independent investigation involving not only the military but also human rights organizations and government oversight agencies. However, to date, the South Korean government has not given the go-ahead for investigation. One of the most controversial elements of the case is the allegation that the perpetrator's family used their power and influence to avoid the perpetrator from legal consequences. This suspicion was further reinforced by the statement of a local investigative journalist, who revealed that some decisions that should have been taken by the military leadership, such as the removal of the perpetrator from the unit or the imposition of disciplinary sanctions, were precisely not those in the military who tried to defend Jungkook ended up being silenced, fearing the consequences. Does justice only apply to those without connections and power? If the families of the perpetrators really use their influence, then this is a vivid example of how the justice system can be undermined by the power of money and relationships. In the midst of all this hustle and bustle, Jungkook himself seems to have chosen to remain silent. His choice not to make a public statement led to two major speculations. Firstly, there are those who believe that Jungkook chose to remain silent in order to preserve the image of the South Korean military in the eyes of the world. As a highly influential public figure, this move was seen as an attempt to avoid a larger escalation. However, others believe that Jungkook's silence is a sign that he may be under great pressure, both from the military and certain